Thank you.
Mr. Jacobsen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I noticed that it's like agenda item 10. I'm hoping I can just talk to it now.
I'm sorry, we're going to get to it quickly. We don't have
Okay.
anything else before it. So we're going to hold off on the ordinance until we get to that point.
Okay. I don't really want to talk about the ordinance. I can sit down and come back. I just have to go to work in 10 minutes.
That's fine.
So
You can talk generally about
Okay. So, how to put this? So my name is Riley Jacobsen. That's Jacobsen. I work at the Poverello Center and also serve on the Affordable Housing Resident Oversight Committee. As someone who was on the homeless outreach team for about a year and a half, the situation that we're dealing with has kind of been step 1 to step 2 to step 3. Step 1 would have been the Department of Transportation making a motion to close down the Reserve Street encampment, whereas the city did kind of band together and come up with a good solution that was the authorized camping site. Now then, with the closure of the authorized camping site, luckily we had the Johnson Street Emergency Shelter open, so most folks were able to go there. However, when Johnson Street closed, as you are all aware, there was nowhere else for anyone to go. There was no authorized camping sites for anyone to camp at other than the safe outdoors space, which is also very limited in its capacity. And so as a result of that, we're seeing more folks flood inward. We're seeing more folks kind of come to where there are services. We ourselves at the POV, well, I can't speak for it. We all are aware that there is an encampment out there. I do believe strongly that there are probably a lot of solutions that are being talked about right now, that there are a lot of really good minds that are devoted to helping find a solvable and workable issue for this, because in all reality, it's a lack of housing. That's the biggest issue that we're seeing, is a lack of affordable housing. We're seeing a lack of overcomable barriers that allow people to get into housing, which results in a larger percentage of our people being on the streets. As someone who has experienced houselessness, it is incredibly difficult to get into housing, to get a job when you're looked at as dirty, as grungy, as an addict, as other things, when in all reality, you're just someone who's down their luck. You're a community member. To answer a question previously, at our last pick count, there was upwards of 586 people within our community who are experiencing houselessness, and that number continues to grow every day as our housing market gets slimmer and slimmer. So I guess not to make a request or even to really touch upon the issue, I just simply recognize that to create more barriers to housing is going to make it more difficult for those who are most vulnerable within our community to get into housing. A large percentage who are from Missoula, who have lived here their entire lives and due to mental health and addiction issues, are now living on the streets. So while I trust in leadership, while I trust in the work that's being done by everyone on the council and everyone in this community, and I feel in my heart that there is a good solution, to start issuing tickets for something is going to create a larger barrier for people to overcome, which is also going to create a rise in our jail population, which is then going to put a further strain on our taxes, which is also going to result in people losing their IDs and then entering houselessness again. So just something to take into consideration. I'm sure everyone is thinking through the issue to the best that they can. But personally, I don't want to see more folks enter houselessness with more barriers, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it does make my job harder. And that's another thing that I have to overcome. Granted, this issue is about folks in our community who are living on the street. So I trust everyone. I know that there's going to be a great decision that is made. But I strongly feel that when we look at our community, we need to be making decisions that consider everybody, not just folks who are living in homes. Because ultimately, we all live in Missoula, even those who are living in tents. And they're no different than anyone else. They just have more to overcome to integrate back into society. So, thank you.
Thank you.